Welcome to Tech for Learners. In this video, we'll see how to create a free Oracle Linux instance in Oracle Cloud with 24 GB memory and 4 CPU. This Oracle instance also available under Always Free option. Let's go through how to create the instance. In our first video, we have used our own custom public-private key using PuTTY key generator to create Oracle instance. But now we are going to use public-private key generated by Oracle Cloud. As usual, log into your Oracle Cloud account and navigate to Create Compute Instance option. Update instance name, or you can keep the default name. Click Edit menu for Image and Shape option. By default, AMD shape will be pre-selected. Click Change Shape and choose Ampere ARM based processor. You can see that shape name will be changed to VM Standard A1 Flex from VM Standard E2 Micro. Click on the Shape checkbox and you can change the number of CPU and memory. I have selected 4 CPU and 24 GB memory. We have created Oracle instance previously in our first video, but that Oracle Linux instance limited to 1 GB memory and 1 CPU. Once you've selected 4 CPU and 24 GB memory, click Change Shape. Now we need to create the SSH keys which will be used to connect to this cloud instance from any SSH client. For this, we have used our own keys through PuTTY key generator in our previous video. But now we are going to use the keys generated by Oracle. In Add SSH Keys section, click Generate Key Pair for me. By default, it will be pre-selected, so no need to change anything. Just download and save the private key and public key. Keep the keys safe in your local drive. Without this private key, we cannot access the Linux instance. Click Create button and wait for a few seconds. You can see the status is still provisioning. Once status changed to running, we can access the Linux instance through SSH client. Yeah, now status is changed to running. If you see the shape configuration, you can see it's showing 24 GB memory and 4 CPU. Now IP address also generated. Now we will be able to access this instance using any SSH client. Previously we have used PuTTY SSH client to connect the Linux instance using PuTTY private key. Now we are going to use a different SSH client. I will recommend Mobaxterm SSH client. It's one of the best SSH client available for Windows. It's free for personal use. I will give the download link to this SSH client in the description. One of the best features of this SSH client is we will be able to access the Linux file system through GUI using this SSH client. I'll show you how to do that later in this video. So download the Mobaxterm SSH client and open the exe. Copy the IP address from Linux instance. In Mobaxterm SSH client, click on Session menu and choose SSH option. Paste the IP address in remote host text box. Then click Advanced SSH settings. Click Use private key checkbox. And browse the private key we have saved in our initial step. You remember that this key was generated by Oracle. Select the key with the extension .key format. not the one with the .pub extension. Then click OK. Now we need to enter the username. Username is OPC. Now you can see SSH client is connected with our Oracle Cloud instance. We can use ls/ command to see the directories under our Linux file system. I've told you we can access the Linux file system through GUI using this SSH client. You can see in the left hand side, here we can see the files available in Linux folders. We can create new files using GUI. Also we can edit the file, delete the file, navigating to different folders. All these options are available. All these things we can do without any commands, just using mouse clicks. So that's it for now. In our next video, we will see how to install web server in Linux instance and host a web application. Also, access the web application using IP address via internet using browser. Thanks for watching this video. Hope it is useful to you. Please subscribe to my channel and share it with your friends.